The council chamber stretched wide across the station, its walls made of crystal that showed the stars beyond. 12 different alien species sat around the great table. They were the leaders of the Galactic Coalition, the most powerful group in known space. Today, they talked about one thing: humans. Ambassador stood at the center. He was tall, with blue skin and 4 arms. His species had fought humans for 3 years. They lost. Now he came to warn the others. "We made a mistake," said. His voice was deep and tired. "We thought humans were weak. We thought their planet was easy prey. We were wrong." The other ambassadors shifted in their seats. Some looked worried, others looked doubtful. "They defeated your third fleet," said Ambassador, a being made of living crystal. "This is known, but you had bad tactics, bad leadership." His eyes flashed with anger. "Bad leadership. Our commanders trained for 200 years. Our fleet had 1,000 ships. Human Earth had 300. We should have one in weeks." He pressed a button. Images appeared in the air above the table. They showed space battles. Human ships moved in strange patterns. They worked together in ways they had never seen. When ships tried to surround them, the humans scattered and reformed elsewhere. When they charged forward, humans fell back and struck from the sides. "They fight like water," said. "They flow around strength. They find weakness. Their soldiers never surrender. Even when a ship is dying, they ram it into our vessels. They trade their lives for victory without hesitation." Another ambassador spoke. She was leader of the Mixing Worlds Alliance. "All species fight hard when defending their home. This does not make them special." "You don't understand," said. "I studied their history. Humans fought each other for 10,000 years before they reached space. They had hundreds of wars, thousands of battles. They learned every trick of warfare by using it on themselves. When we came to their world, we brought tactics that were new to us. To them, they were ancient." The chamber fell quiet. The ambassadors looked at each other. "Show them the fortress battle," said to his assistant. A new image appeared. It showed a massive station in space. "This was Station 7, explained. "It held 50,000 soldiers. Weapons covered every surface. We thought it was unbeatable. Humans took it in 4 hours." The image played. Human marines came in small ships. They landed on the station's surface. They cut through the hull. They moved through the corridors like a flood. The defenders tried to hold positions, but humans came from every direction at once. They used the station's own air system to move gas that made soldiers sleep. They hacked the lights and fought in darkness. When it ended, the station belonged to Earth. "These are their regular soldiers," said. "Their normal army, their basic troops, and they terrify us." The chamber stayed silent for a long moment. Finally spoke. "What do you suggest we do?" "We make peace with Earth," said. "We accept them into the coalition. We never make them our enemy again." "Agreed," said several ambassadors together. Far away from the council, on a moon called, something else was happening. The moon was cold and dark. It orbited a dead planet in contested space. Both humans claimed this system. Neither wanted to start another war over it. Lieutenant Commander Ho moved through the darkness. He wore a suit that bent light around him. To anyone watching, he looked like a shadow, nothing more. Behind him, 5 other soldiers moved just as quietly. They made no sound. They left no trace. Ho raised his fist. Everyone stopped. He pointed forward. Through the darkness, they could see a building. It was a research station. Intelligence said they were building a new weapon here. Ho's orders were simple: get in, find the weapon, destroy it, get out. No witnesses. He touched his wrist. A small screen appeared. It showed the building's layout. His team had studied it for weeks. They knew every room, every guard post, every camera. "Cameras," Ho whispered into his radio. 300 meters away, hidden in rocks, sat with a computer. His fingers moved fast across the screen. "Cameras looping in 3, 2, 1. You're invisible." Ho moved forward. His team followed. They reached the building's wall. One soldier pulled out a small device. He placed it against the metal. The device made a hole without sound or light. They slipped through. Inside, guards stood at their posts. They saw nothing. Ho's team moved between them like ghosts. They took stairs going down. The research lab was in the basement, far underground. They found the weapon. It was a large machine covered in alien symbols. Would need to see this. Ho took pictures with a camera built into his helmet. Then he placed charges around the room, small ones. They would destroy the machine but not collapse the building. No would die tonight. Those were the orders. They left the same way they came, silent, invisible, perfect. When they were 2 kilometers away, Ho pressed a button. Behind them, deep underground, the charges went off. The machine turned to melted metal. The research was gone. "Command, this is Shadow 1, Ho said into his radio. "Mission complete, coming home." "Copy, Shadow 1, good work." The team disappeared into the night. By morning, they would be off the moon. They would find their destroyed weapon. They would search for who did it. They would find nothing. No evidence. No trace. Not even a footprint. This happened often, all across the galaxy in places where humans and others competed. Strange things occurred. Weapons disappeared. Data was stolen. Important people vanished and appeared somewhere else, confused but unharmed. The Coalition noticed. They asked Earth about it. Earth said they knew nothing. But in secret places, in rooms that didn't exist on any map, people like Ho trained. They learned to move without sound, to fight without mercy, to complete missions that regular soldiers couldn't imagine. They were Earth's real weapon, the one nobody talked about. The Galactic Coalition feared Earth's army. They had no idea what was really waiting in the shadows. They would learn soon enough. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's conventional military was just the beginning. The real hunters had not yet revealed themselves. And when they did, nothing would ever be the same. Na sat in her office on Coalition Station 12. She was human, but she worked for the Galactic Coalition as an intelligence analyst. Her job was to watch information from across the galaxy and find patterns. Today, she found something strange. Reports came from 7 different sectors, 7 different places, all far apart, but they all said the same thing. Someone was attacking targets, small attacks, quiet ones. A convoy disappeared here. A communication station went dark there. A weapons facility exploded somewhere else. They couldn't find who was responsible. Na looked at the dates. All the attacks happened at night. All of them left no evidence. All of them were perfect. She pulled up more files. Similar attacks had happened near space, near the mixing worlds, even in neutral zones, always small, always clean, always successful. Her computer beeped. A new report came in. This one was different. They had captured someone, a human. They found him near one of their prison stations. He carried no identification. His weapons didn't match any known Earth military equipment. His suit used technology that shouldn't exist. The report included an interrogation file. Na opened it. She read what they wrote. Subject refuses to speak. Does not respond to standard galactic language. Does not respond to English. Appears to know 17 languages based on our tests, but chooses silence. Physical examination shows enhanced muscle density. Reaction time tests indicate speeds 30% faster than baseline human. Subject escaped from holding cell 3 times. We now use our highest security prison. Na felt cold. She knew Earth's military. She had studied their operations. This didn't match. This was something else. She sent a coded message to Earth Command. Need information on captured operative near space. Urgent. The reply came back in minutes. Just 2 words, no operative. Na stared at the screen. Earth was lying, but why? On the prison station, Ho sat in his cell. The walls were made of reinforced metal. Guards stood outside. Cameras watched his every move. The thought they had him trapped. They were wrong. Ho had let them capture him. The prison station held information he needed. His mission was to get inside, access their computer network, steal the data, and escape. Being captured was step one. He looked at the ceiling. A small vent was there, too small for most beings to fit through. But Ho had trained for years to make his body fit in impossible spaces. He waited until the guard shift changed. That gave him 4 minutes. He moved fast. He jumped up and pulled the vent cover off. He squeezed inside. The space was tight. He could barely move. He didn't care. He crawled through the ventilation system, following the path he had memorized. He reached the server room. He dropped down silently. A technician sat at a computer. Ho moved behind him. One quick strike and the technician fell unconscious. Ho caught him before he hit the floor. No noise. He plugged a device into the computer. Data flowed into it. Thousands of files, battle plans, ship movements, everything Earth needed to know. Alarms suddenly blared. They found his empty cell. Ho grabbed his device and ran. He moved through corridors he had mapped in his mind. Guards rushed past him. He hid in shadows. He climbed through maintenance shafts. He was everywhere and nowhere. He reached the docking bay. A small shuttle sat there. He broke in and started the engines. Guards rushed toward him, firing weapons. The shuttle's shields absorbed the shots. Ho flew out of the station. More alarms. Fighters launched to chase him. Ho's shuttle was small and fast. He dove toward the nearby planet. The fighters followed. He entered the atmosphere at a steep angle. The shuttle's hull heated up. Warning lights flashed. He didn't slow down. He crashed into a forest. The impact was hard. The shuttle broke apart. Ho climbed out carrying his data device. The fighters circled above, searching. He disappeared into the trees. For 3 days they hunted him. They sent 200 soldiers. They used scanners. They used tracking animals. They found nothing. On the 4th day, a human ship picked him up from a hidden landing site. He was gone. They counted their losses. 40 guards injured. None killed. 200 prisoners freed during the chaos. Their most secure prison breached, all by one human. The report went to the Galactic Coalition. Na read it with shaking hands. She called an emergency meeting. Ambassador came. So did representatives from 5 other species. Earth is hiding something, Na said. She showed them the reports, the attacks, the captured operative, the prison break. These aren't regular soldiers. Regular soldiers don't move like this, don't operate like this. What are you saying? Asked. I'm saying Earth's army isn't their only military force. There's something else, something they haven't told us about. The room went quiet. Enhanced soldiers, suggested one ambassador. Genetic modifications. Maybe, Na said. Or maybe just training we can't imagine. She pulled up more data. I found references in Earth's old history files. Before they reached space, they had special military units. Elite soldiers, they called them different names. Commandos, Rangers, Special Forces. These soldiers trained harder than regular troops. They did impossible missions. They operated in secret. You think Earth still has these? Asked. I think Earth never stopped having them, Na said. I think we've only been seeing their regular army. We haven't met their hunters yet. The ambassadors looked at each other with fear. We need to ask Earth directly, said. A message was sent to Earth Command. It was simple. Do you have military forces operating outside normal command structure? Do you have soldiers we don't know about? Earth's response came 3 days later. It was short, it was honest, it was terrifying. You have seen our army. They defend our worlds. They fight in open battle. They wear uniforms and follow laws of war. You are correct that this is not everything. We have others. They work in darkness. They do missions that must never be spoken of. They are our answer to threats that armies cannot handle. We call them special forces. You will never see them coming. You will only see what they leave behind. The message continued. We kept them secret because we hoped never to use them outside our own space. But the galaxy is dangerous. Threats grow every day. Our special forces protect not just Earth but coalition space. Many attacks you prevented you did not prevent. We did. Silently. We are not your enemy. We are your shadow guardians. The message ended with a warning. Do not ask us to stop. The galaxy needs hunters who work in darkness. Be grateful we hunt for you, not against you. Na read the message again and again. She thought about all the reports, all the perfect operations, all the impossible missions. Earth had soldiers who operated at a level the galaxy had never imagined. And these soldiers had been protecting coalition space all along, in secret, in silence. She wondered how many missions had happened that nobody knew about, how many threats were stopped before they could grow, how many lives were saved by humans who would never get credit. The galaxy feared Earth's army. Now they knew the truth. The army was just the shield. The special forces were the sword, and that sword had been moving in darkness all along. The Empire had enough. For months they watched their operations fail. Their secrets were stolen, their weapons destroyed, all by invisible enemies, all by humans they could not catch. The Emperor decided to end it. He would crush Earth completely. 500 warships gathered at the edge of space. It was the largest fleet they had ever assembled. The Emperor himself gave the speech. Humans think they are clever. They hide in shadows and strike from darkness. We will show them that shadows mean nothing against overwhelming power. We will burn their worlds. We will break their spirit. We will show the galaxy that the Empire bows to no one. The fleet moved toward Earth space. The coalition watched in horror. War was coming, big war, the kind that killed billions. Earth's response came quickly. Their fleet moved to intercept. 300 ships, the same number as before. They laughed. They had 500, they would win easily. But Earth sent another message. This one went only to military channels, only to people who needed to know. It said, Task Force Shadow is deployed. Operation Silent Thunder is active. Na saw the message from her station. She understood what it meant. While Earth's fleet met in open space, the real war would happen somewhere else. Ho stood in the briefing room aboard the stealth ship Ghost Knife. Around him sat 20 other soldiers. They were the best of the best. Some had been in special forces for 20 years. Others were newer but just as skilled. All of them had done missions that regular soldiers thought were impossible. Our target is the command ship, Emperor's Fist, Ho said. A hologram appeared showing a massive vessel. This ship controls their entire fleet. The Emperor is aboard, so are all their top commanders. Raised his hand. We're going to kill them. No, Ho said. We're going to make them unable to fight. You'll hack their communication system, cut them off from the fleet. Bora, you'll broadcast a message to their crews. Sangwoo, you'll be ready for medical support. We don't kill unless we must. Our goal is to end this war, not to make martyrs. The team nodded. They understood. We launch in 2 hours, Ho said. Check your gear. Rest if you can. This will be the hardest mission any of us have done. 2 hours later, 4 small pods launched from the Ghost Knife. They were tiny. Stealth technology covered them. To sensors, they looked like space dust. The pods flew toward the massive fleet. They passed between warships. Guards saw nothing. Sensors detected nothing. They reached the Emperor's Fist. The command ship was huge. 10,000 lived and worked inside. The pods attached to the hull. Ho's team cut through the metal using tools that made no sound. They entered the ship. Inside, they split into groups. Ho led 4 soldiers toward the bridge, took 3 soldiers to the server room. Bora moved toward the communications center with her team. They all moved like shadows. A patrol walked down a corridor, 12 soldiers heavily armed. They didn't see Ho's team pressed flat against the ceiling above them. The patrol passed. The humans dropped down silently and continued. Reached the server room first. 2 technicians worked there, used a device that released sleep gas. The technicians breathed it and collapsed gently, caught them and laid them down safely. Then he went to the computers. His fingers moved fast. Code appeared on screens. He had studied their language for years. He knew their systems better than they did. He found the communication network. He planted a virus, a special one. It would spread through the entire fleet in minutes. Communications virus deployed, he whispered into his radio. Stand by for chaos. On the bridge, the Emperor sat in his command chair. Around him, officers managed the fleet. 500 ships moved in perfect formation. They would reach Earth's fleet in 3 hours. Your Majesty, an officer said, we're detecting a minor glitch in the communication system. Fix it, the Emperor said. Yes, Your Majesty. But the glitch grew, screens flickered, then they went dark. Officers shouted in confusion. The Emperor stood up angry. What is happening? Communications are down, Your Majesty. We've lost contact with the fleet. Restore them immediately. We're trying. That's when Bora's message played. It went to every ship in the fleet, every screen, every speaker. The message was not in standard galactic. It was in language. It showed images from history, images of their own civil wars, their own horrors, their own mistakes. Bora's voice spoke over the images. She had studied psychology for months. She knew what they feared. She knew what they respected. Warriors, she said, you fight for an emperor who sends you to die for pride. Not for survival, not for your people, for pride. Look at your history. Look at what pride cost you. 3 civil wars, billions dead. Are you ready to repeat that mistake? The message continued. Humans do not want war. We want peace, but we will defend ourselves. You cannot win this fight, not because we are stronger, because we are smarter. We are already inside your command ship. We have already taken control. We could have killed your emperor. We chose not to. This is mercy. Do you have the wisdom to accept it? On 500 ships, crews watched the message. Some were angry, some were thoughtful, some were scared. 3 entire squadrons, ships that had lost crew in previous battles with humans, made a choice. They broke formation. They turned away from the battle. The Emperor was furious. Traitors, cowards, I will execute them all. Then Ho appeared on the bridge. He came from a ventilation shaft, dropping down behind the Emperor's chair. His team followed. They moved so fast that guards barely had time to raise weapons. Nobody move, Ho said in perfect. His rifle pointed at the Emperor. We don't want to hurt anyone. We're here to stop a war. The Emperor stared at him with hate and fear. You dare threaten me on my own ship? I'm not threatening, Ho said calmly. I'm offering a choice. Order your fleet to stand down or watch it tear itself apart. My colleague has taken control of your communication system. Every ship is seeing the truth right now. You're losing crews by the minute. You're bluffing. Am I? Ho gestured to a screen. It showed the fleet. More ships were breaking formation. Confusion spread like fire. The Emperor saw his perfect fleet falling apart. He saw his crews doubting. He saw his power crumbling. Why? He asked quietly. Why not just kill me? That would end the war instantly. Because we're not murderers, Ho said. We're soldiers. There's a difference. If we kill you, your people make you a martyr. The war continues. But if you choose peace, if you choose wisdom, then the war ends today. You save face. You save lives. You become the Emperor who chose strategy over pride. The Emperor looked around his bridge. His officers watched him. His guards waited for orders. He had 2 choices, fight and lose everything, or surrender and save his empire. He made the smart choice. Order the fleet to halt, he said quietly. Open communication with Earth forces. We will negotiate. Ho lowered his weapon. Smart choice. Within an hour, the crisis was over. The fleet stopped. Earth's fleet stopped. Diplomats talked instead of weapons firing. The war that should have killed billions ended before it truly started. The coalition couldn't believe it. 500 enemy ships stopped by 20 humans, 20 soldiers who did what an army couldn't do. Now watch the reports come in. She thought about what Ho said to the Emperor. "We're soldiers, not murderers." That was the difference. Earth's special forces were not just good at killing. They were good at stopping killing. They understood that the best victory was the one where everyone lived. The galaxy was learning. Earth's army was terrifying, but Earth's special forces were something else entirely. They were artists of war, and their masterpiece was peace. Peace with the lasted 3 months. Then the Vex arrived. The Galactic Coalition received a distress call from the Outer Rim. An entire colony went silent. 12 million people, just gone. The Coalition sent an investigation fleet. What they found terrified them. The colony was still there, the buildings stood. The ships were in orbit, but the people were different. They moved together, they spoke together, they thought together. They were no longer individuals. They were part of something else, something vast, something hungry. The Vex Collective had found the galaxy. Na studied the reports with growing horror. The Vex were unlike anything the Coalition had faced. They were not a species. They were many species, all connected through a shared mind. When the Vex took a world, they didn't kill the population. They absorbed them. Every person became part of the collective. Every thought became shared. And the collective was smart, very smart. It learned from every species it absorbed. It adapted instantly. It coordinated perfectly. Where other armies had to relay orders, the Vex moved as one being with billions of bodies. The Coalition tried to fight. They sent their best fleet, 10,000 ships. The Vex took them apart in days, not by destroying them but by absorbing them. Every captured soldier became a new part of the Vex. Every captured ship became a Vex vessel. The more you fought, the stronger they became. Within a month, the Vex controlled 40 systems. Billions of beings were now part of the collective. The Coalition was losing badly. Earth's Council of Admirals met in emergency session. They watched the reports. They saw how the Vex operated. They understood the problem. "Conventional warfare won't work," Admiral Yang said. "Every soldier we send becomes their soldier. Every weapon we use, they learn to counter. We need a different approach." "Special Forces," said Admiral Haywan. Everyone nodded. This was a job for the shadows. Ho received his orders on a secure channel. Mission: reconnaissance and intelligence gathering on Vex-controlled World 7. Assess Vex capabilities. Find weakness. Return with data. His team assembled, brought specialized scanning equipment. Bora brought psychological analysis tools, though nobody knew if psychology worked on a hive mind. Sangwoo packed medical supplies for 16 different species. They would need to save anyone they found. They approached 7 in a stealth ship. The planet looked normal from orbit. Cities glowed with lights. Ships moved in regular patterns, but something was wrong. Everything moved too perfectly, too coordinated. "That's not natural," said. "Look at the traffic patterns. Every ship moves in exact synchronization. No delays, no mistakes, no individual choice." "That's the Vex," Ho said. "They don't think separately, they think as one." The team dropped to the planet's surface in a stealth pod. They landed in a forest outside a major city. Ho led them toward the urban area carefully. They wore suits that blocked mental signals. If the Vex worked through shared consciousness, the team needed to be invisible to that consciousness. They reached the city at night. What they saw made them pause. People walked the streets. They looked normal, but they all moved in perfect unison. When one turned left, hundreds turned left at the same moment. When one spoke, thousands spoke the same words at the same time. It was beautiful and horrifying. "They're not individuals anymore," Bora whispered. "They're extensions of one mind." "Can they be saved?" Sangwoo asked. "I don't know," Bora said honestly. They moved deeper into the city, always hiding, always silent. They needed to find the center of Vex control. Every collective had a hub, a place where the shared consciousness was strongest. Scanner beeped softly. I'm detecting massive neural activity from the central tower. That's where the hive mind coordinates. They reached the tower. Guards stood at every entrance. But these guards didn't watch for threats like normal guards. They stood perfectly still, waiting for the hive mind to detect danger. Individual awareness didn't exist anymore. Ho's team slipped past them. The guards never moved. The hive mind didn't know the humans were there because the humans' minds were shielded. Inside the tower, they found something unexpected. A chamber filled with strange organic technology. It pulsed with light. It hummed with energy. Thousands of neural connections ran from it in all directions, spreading through the building and into the ground. "This is it," whispered. "This is the node, the connection point. The Vex use these to link every mind on the planet into one network." He started scanning. Data flowed into his equipment, hours of information compressed into minutes. The Vex's technology, their communication methods, their neural patterns, everything Earth needed to know. Then something happened. A voice spoke, not from a person, from everywhere at once. "We detect you." The team froze. "You shield your minds. Clever, but you cannot hide your physical presence. We feel your weight on the floor. We smell your scent in the air. We hear your breathing." Ho realized the truth. The Vex didn't need to read their minds. The Vex shared the senses of millions of people in the city. Every eye, every ear, every nose was connected. The team wasn't invisible. They were surrounded. "Run," Ho said. They ran. Behind them, thousands of Vex-controlled people poured into the tower, all moving as one, all thinking as one, all hunting as one. The team split up. Old Special Forces tactic. The hive mind could coordinate, but it still needed to divide its attention. 4 humans running in different directions meant 4 separate threats. Ho ran through corridors. Vex-controlled people came from every direction. He dodged, he jumped, he climbed. He was faster than they were, more creative, more unpredictable. That was the key. The Vex thought as one mind, one brilliant, efficient mind, but it was still one mind. It made one plan, one strategy. When Ho did something unexpected, the Vex took a moment to adapt. Just a moment. But that moment was enough. He met his team at the extraction point. They had all escaped, barely. "We need to leave now," said. "They're mobilizing the entire planet." They boarded their pod and launched. Behind them, thousands of ships rose from the city, all moving in perfect formation, all coordinated by one mind. But the pod was small and fast and stealthy. It slipped away. Back on Earth, the team delivered their data. Scientists studied it for days. They found something interesting. "The Vex's strength is also their weakness," said lead researcher Dr. Me. "They share everything, every thought, every sensation, every emotion. If we could overload that network with something they can't process, something chaotic and unpredictable, we could disrupt them." "What kind of something?" Admiral Haywan asked. "Human creativity," Dr. Me said. "Human emotion. The Vex absorbed dozens of species, but most of those species think logically. Humans think chaotically. We feel things that don't make sense. We make art, we dream, we imagine. The Vex can't fully process that. It confuses them." A plan formed, a dangerous plan. They would need someone to get close to the Vex, close enough to be absorbed, but that person would carry something in their mind, something that would spread through the collective like a virus, not a computer virus, a psychological one. Bora volunteered. "No," Ho said immediately, "it's too dangerous." "It's the mission," Bora said calmly. "This is what we do, impossible missions. This is mine." She had studied the Vex for weeks. She understood their psychology or lack of it. She knew what would disrupt them, fear, not fear of death. The Vex didn't fear death, fear of being alone, fear of losing the collective, fear of individual existence. She would carry that fear into their network. She would make billions of connected minds suddenly understand what it meant to be alone. The shock would tear the collective apart. The team returned to 7. This time they didn't hide. Bora walked openly into the city. The Vex found her immediately. They surrounded her. She didn't fight. She let them touch her, let them begin the absorption process. As the neural connection formed, Bora unleashed the psychological weapon in her mind. It spread through the Vex network like wildfire. Billions of minds suddenly felt something they had never experienced: isolation, loneliness, individuality, the terror of being alone with your own thoughts. The collective screamed, not with voices, with minds. For 5 minutes, every Vex-controlled person across 40 systems stood frozen. The hive mind was overwhelmed. It couldn't process what Bora had given it. Then Ho pulled her free. The neural connection broke. Bora collapsed. Sangwoo was there immediately, checking her vital signs. "She's alive," he said, "but weak. We need to go now." They escaped as the Vex slowly recovered. But the damage was done. The collective was wounded, confused. It retreated from 20 systems. It released millions of people who were no longer useful to a damaged hive mind. The coalition couldn't believe it. The Vex, who had seemed unstoppable, were defeated. Not by an army. By one human woman who understood that the best weapon against a shared mind was the fear of being alone. Bora recovered in a medical facility on Earth. The doctors said she was lucky to be alive. The neural connection with the Vex had damaged parts of her brain. She would need months to heal, but she was proud. She had done the impossible. She had broken a hive mind. The galaxy celebrated. The Vex collective retreated. Systems were liberated. Billions of people were saved. The coalition formally recognized Earth's special forces as heroes. They wanted parades, medals, public ceremonies. Earth politely refused. "Special forces operate in shadow," the official statement said. "That is where they belong. That is where they work best." But not everyone was celebrating. Nuh discovered something troubling in intelligence reports. While the galaxy focused on the Vex, another threat had been watching, studying, learning. The Thane Dominion. They were old, older than most species in the coalition. They had conquered hundreds of worlds thousands of years ago. Then they disappeared. Most people thought they were gone, extinct maybe, or just hiding. They were hiding, but now they were coming back. Nuh brought her findings to Earth Command. "The Thane have been monitoring us. They watched our they watched our fight with the Vex. They're analyzing our tactics, our capabilities. They're planning something." Admiral Yang studied the data. "What do we know about them?" "Not much," Nuh admitted. "They're technologically advanced, far beyond us. They view other species as inferior, as livestock. When they conquer, they don't occupy, they harvest. They take what they want and leave nothing behind." "Can we negotiate?" "They don't negotiate, they take." The news got worse. A Thane fleet appeared at the edge of coalition space. 100 ships. Each ship was massive. Weapons covered every surface. Shields glowed with power that sensors couldn't fully measure. The Thane sent one message: "Submit or be harvested. You have one local solar cycle to decide." The coalition panicked. They had just finished one war and barely survived another. They were tired, weak. They couldn't fight the Thane. But Earth could. "We have a plan," Admiral Haywon told the Coalition Council. "We won't fight the Thane fleet. We'll end the war before it starts." "How?" Ambassador asked. "The same way we always do. We send our best." Ho assembled a team. Not just humans this time. The galaxy had learned from Earth's methods. Other species had started training their own special operators. They weren't as good as humans yet, but they were learning. A soldier named joined the team. He had trained with humans for 6 months. He was fierce and loyal. A crystal being named volunteered. Her species could phase through solid matter, a useful skill for infiltration. Even a former Vex individual named joined. He had been freed when the collective broke. He remembered everything the Vex knew. He wanted revenge. The mission was simple in concept, impossible in execution. They would infiltrate the Thane throne world. They would reach the God Emperor, the being who ruled the Dominion. They would force him to end the war. "We're not going to kill him," Ho explained during the briefing. "If we kill him, his people will never stop hunting us. We need to show him something else. We need to show him mercy, power through restraint." Ask the obvious question. How do we reach him? The throne world will have defenses we can't imagine. "We use what we learned," Ho said. "From we learned about their technology. From the Vex, we learned about neural networks. We combine everything. We adapt. That's what humans do best." The team traveled to Thane space in a captured Vex ship. To Thane sensors, they looked like a damaged vessel seeking help. The Thane let them approach. They were arrogant. They didn't fear a broken ship. They should have. The team landed on the throne world, a planet covered in massive structures, cities that reached the clouds, technology that glowed with impossible power. Millions of Thane lived here. All of them believed they were superior to every other species. Ho's team moved through the capital city. They wore adaptive camouflage that had designed. It changed constantly, matching their surroundings. To Thane eyes, they were invisible. But infiltrating the palace was harder. The God Emperor lived in a fortress that floated above the city. Shields surrounded it. Guards patrolled every level. Sensors covered every approach. "We can't sneak in," said. "The security is too tight." "Then we don't sneak," Ho said. "We walk in the front door." He had a plan, a crazy one. They would surrender, present themselves as prisoners. The Thane would bring them to the Emperor as trophies. Then when they were close enough, they would act. It worked exactly as Ho predicted. The Thane found them walking openly toward the palace. Guards surrounded them. They raised their hands. The guards laughed. More inferior beings coming to bow before the Emperor. They were brought to the throne room. It was massive. Gold covered the walls. Art from 1,000 conquered worlds decorated the space, and at the center, on a throne of crystal, sat the God Emperor. He was huge, 3 meters tall. His skin was like metal. His eyes glowed with energy. He radiated power. "You surrender," he said. His voice was deep. "Wise, your species will serve well." "We didn't come to surrender," Ho said. "We came to talk." The Emperor laughed. "Species like yours don't talk with beings like us. You obey or you die." "That's where you're wrong." Ho gave a signal, activated a device. Suddenly, every screen in the throne room showed images. Images of Earth. Images of human history. Images of wars, of struggles, of humans fighting each other for thousands of years. "You think we're weak," Ho said. "You think we're prey, but look at what we've done. We fought each other for 10,000 years. We learned every form of warfare, every tactic, every strategy. We learned to fight enemies who knew us completely, who thought like us. And we survived." More images appeared. Human special forces in action, the prison break, the Vex infiltration, missions across the galaxy. "We could have killed you," Ho continued. "We're in your throne room. Your guards didn't stop us. Your sensors didn't detect us. We could end you right now, but we won't. Because we're not monsters. We're showing you mercy. The question is, are you wise enough to accept it?" The God Emperor stared at him. Around the room, guards tensed. One word from the Emperor and they would attack. But the Emperor was old, ancient. He had ruled for 3,000 years. He had seen species rise and fall. He understood power. And he understood that these humans had just demonstrated something incredible. They had reached him in his most secure location. They had offered mercy when they could have taken revenge. That was true power. "Your species interests me," the Emperor said slowly. "You fight not to conquer, you fight to protect. This is unusual." "This is human," Ho said. "And if I refuse your mercy, if I order my fleet to attack?" Sangwoo stepped forward. He held a medical device. "Then we leave, but first I save your daughter." Everyone froze. "What?" the Emperor said. "Your daughter, Princess. She has a genetic condition. Your doctors can't cure it, but I can. Human medicine is different from yours. We solve problems you haven't imagined. I can save her life if you let me." The Emperor looked at Sangwoo with shock and anger and hope all mixed together. "How do you know about my daughter?" "We know everything," Sangwoo said gently. "That's our job, but we don't use information to hurt. We use it to help. Let me save her. Let us show you what humans really are." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. Sangwoo was brought to the princess. She was young, weak, dying. The Emperor's doctors stood by helplessly. Sangwoo examined her. He used human medical knowledge combined with alien biology understanding. He worked for 6 hours. When he finished, the princess was breathing normally. Her color returned. She would live. The Emperor looked at Sangwoo with tears in his ancient eyes. "You saved her. Why? We were going to destroy your people." "Because she's innocent," Sangwoo said simply. "Because saving lives is what I do. Soldier or enemy, adult or child, it doesn't matter. Life is precious." The Emperor understood. These humans were not like other species. They had the power to destroy, but they chose to protect. They had mastered warfare so completely that they could choose peace. "The war is over," the Emperor declared. "The Thane Dominion will not attack the coalition. We will negotiate, we will trade, we will coexist." The team returned to Earth as heroes, but they still refused parades, still refused medals. They returned to their training, to their missions, to the shadows. Na visited Ho at the training facility. "You changed the galaxy," she said. "We just did our job," Ho replied. "Your job saved billions of lives. That's why we do it." Na watched as new recruits trained, humans and aliens together now. The galaxy had learned from Earth. Special forces weren't just about humans anymore. They were about a philosophy, a way of thinking. "What will you do now?" she asked. "Keep training," Ho said. "The galaxy is big. There are always threats, always missions. We stay ready, we stay sharp. We make sure that peace remains possible because we're good at war." Na smiled. She understood. The galaxy feared Earth's army. They respected Earth's special forces. But what they really should understand was the philosophy behind it all. Humans had learned through 10,000 years of conflict that the purpose of warriors wasn't to fight. It was to make fighting unnecessary. Years later, Ho trained a new generation. He told them the same thing he always told new recruits. "We operate in darkness so others can live in light. We master war so others can enjoy peace. We are the reason the galaxy sleeps safely, not because we kill enemies, because we make having enemies unnecessary. We are special forces. We are the shadows that protect the light. Never forget that." The recruits listened. They understood. They would carry this forward. And somewhere in the galaxy, in the dark spaces between stars, human special forces continued their missions. Quietly, efficiently, protecting a peace that most people didn't even know was being protected. The galaxy had learned to fear Earth's army, but they had learned something more important from Earth's special forces. They learned that true strength wasn't the ability to destroy. It was the wisdom to choose not to.